My name's Sabrina Ben Salmi, and welcome to Discussions of Exploration. Today, I'm joined with a very, very special guest called Philip Sykes. I am in awe of the amazing work that he does at the British School of Etiquette. He is the founder of this amazing, wondrous establishment, and he and his team deliver so much value globally. And I'm really, really honored to be able to invite him here as a guest to share the magic that he does. Philip, can you please introduce yourself to the listeners?
Sabrina, firstly, thanks for this amazing opportunity. And for those listeners out there, everything is jump at the opportunities that you get presented with, because one opportunity can change your life for the rest of your life. And I truly live by that. And, just before I sort of give my self-introduction, it's very much about exactly what Sabrina's about, is about giving and helping other people. And this is what we do in this world. And this is very much what the British School of Etiquette was founded on. It was founded on the opportunity to help as many people in this world as possible. And I feel very strongly that a lot of people in this world think that etiquette and manners are a nice to have, whereas actually, more so than ever before, this is very much a need to have. This is something that can change your life in every single way, form, and send you in so many different directions. Not just your personal life, not your social life, your business world, every single element of our lives, it influences and impacts. And learning good etiquette and manners goes far deeper than just sitting around a dining room table with a knife and fork. It really does. It really, we focus on emotional intelligence. We focus on the importance and power of body language, the importance and the power of the pen. In other words, handwriting letters and notes and engaging, corresponding with people outside of the digital world. Learning to connect with people on all the various platforms. We talk about a brand that we have called Techicette and Internetiquette, which are both trademark names. And again, we teach and work with people on how to align yourself on your various platforms, how to engage on a professional level through your email etiquette. And now more so than ever before, we are engaging more and more online with people. So we are running workshops and programs on how to really set yourself up for that perfect Zoom call, that Skype call. Set yourself up to really make a wow impact and connect with people. Even though you're not seeing them face to face, you still have this ability to connect over the internet with people. So that's just scratching the surface. And here at the British School of Etiquette, we're about to launch one of the most phenomenal EQ programs. It's going to be known as emotional etiquette, or leading with emotional intelligence. And Sabrina, to your audience, just something that you are fantastic at doing is putting books together for people and helping people, take their verbiage and their passion and put it into writing. And something that I'm going to be doing in the not too distant future, but is working with Sabrina to get a lot of our sort of written material online and onto paper, so that people can purchase what we've had to share with the people with the world out there. That you can really just sit and relax and read up a few bits of guidance and steering and advice and help that can push you out of your comfort zone, but really set you on the right direction.
Excellent, exciting times ahead, it sounds, for you and the team. Amazing. Philip, I wonder if you can start by telling the listeners a bit about your story, because it's one thing about, this is what I do now, but it's like, where did this start? Where did the British School of Etiquette come from? I totally agree with you. It's a must have. It's not kind of manners. Everyone thinks that etiquette is purely manners. I'm so glad that you mentioned about emotional intelligence. And this was what literally got me jumping out of my seat saying, I've got to connect with Philip. I've got to get my kids on your courses, because I totally get it. I know that it's a difference between being a successful entrepreneur and being an outstanding entrepreneur. And that's the difference that I know that you bring to the table. And this is why I'm very, very grateful to have you part of my spiritual family, what I like to revert to it as a go-to person that I know that if I've got a meeting to prepare for, if there's any business negotiation going on, I know that who I need to come to have those conversations to help prepare me for such things.
Absolutely. And beautifully put, Sabrina. And this is what this is about. This is going above and beyond. Always under promise and over deliver. This is what it's all about. And I'd love to share my story with you. I have to thank my mum. And I think that's women for me are the most wonderful creation ever, and more powerful than I think anyone really understands or, even admits, because you amazing, wonderful people, women, take on so much on your shoulders. It's not just raising a family, but it's doing so many other things, and almost take on too much. So my mum was born in mid-Africa, and as you can imagine, into quite a colonial environment. And so manners and etiquette were instilled in her from a very, very young age. Her parents were very, let's call it, prim and proper. They were well educated, and they were very, very clear on the importance of etiquette and manners. My mum went to an all-girls school. My father was educated in the United Kingdom and went out to Africa in the 60s after leaving Oxford University. And again, brought up in that same vein of etiquette and manners. And so I was the eldest of four. I'm the eldest of four, and we were all very fortunate in going to great schools, which instilled very strong ethical being and upbringing and manners, and the old adage, manners maketh a man, and I would put that manners maketh man or woman, rings true and runs very much as part of the way we were brought up. And mum and dad were fastidious in following that up. And even today, in my, dare I say it, my early 50s, mum will still correct me if I
I love that.
which I love. Yeah, so even now in my early 50s, mum will still correct me, and I love it. She's so on point when it comes to knowing the right thing to do. And this is, one thing I want people to understand is that etiquette and manners is not for the posh people and it's all smart and blah, blah, blah. This is very much about building character. This is about giving you confidence to really handle yourself in any situation. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I actually phoned my mum up and I said, "Mum, I really want to thank you so much for what you've done for me." And she says, "Philly boy, you don't need to thank me. You're my son. It's normal." I said, "No, Mum, actually I do, because you've given me the ability to do what I do in my life. And I'm so fortunate to do what I do every day. I am passionate about what I do. And if I hadn't have had that upbringing and that consistency of you," call it nagging, call it pushing, call it sort of being persistent with me in the true form, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. And I know this is topped up with all the other experiences that come through in life, but it was her. She was the pillar. She was the foundation for me and my father, obviously, in the sense of really being able to leverage off this amazing upbringing that I had. And, we're a very fortunate family. We didn't go without, but we weren't one of those families that sort of could jump on an airplane at any given time. My father worked exceptionally hard to send us to good schools. Having left school, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. And so I came over to the UK for the first time, and I was like a rabbit in front of headlights. This is mid 80s, and I'm living in Camden Town. My eyes were on stalks, and my first job was working at the Hard Rock Cafe in Hyde Park Corner, cleaning tables. Yeah, and cleaning tables, and often jumping into the dish room where my Nigerian friend Jimmy would be working, and if he had a day off, I'd jump in and take his role. And it was very much a full year of learning to engage with people at all different levels. And busboys, we couldn't get promoted, and the only way you could get promoted was to working on the door or behind the bar. And I was fortunate; within the first 7 months, I ended up being a host on the door. Having finished up at the Hard Rock Cafe after spending a year there, I decided to go and do a ski season. And for me, it was an unbelievable opportunity to learn how to ski properly. And then I went back to Africa in the mid-80s, in mid-88 actually, and I joined one of the finest restaurants in the country as a waiter. And that was for me one of the most unbelievable foundations in learning the fundamental aspects of engaging with people on all levels. It topped up what mum had instilled in me. It topped up what the school had instilled in me. It topped up my personality. It was about precision. It was about attention to detail. And that for me was a real wow. And it was one of the top restaurants in the country. It was known as the Colony Restaurant. And unfortunately, it's no longer around there today, but the owners of it were phenomenal. And the training we got was amazing. I then joined hotel school. And while I was at hotel school, I was still waitering at the Colony Restaurant. And the hotel school was 3 years, 2 years actually in academia and a year in industry. And my first 6 months of my academic or my practical year was at the Mount Nelson Hotel, which is a famous hotel in Cape Town, where I worked in the food and beverage department under a great chef. And then I worked in the catering, as in the functions area, and working in the various restaurants and that sort of thing. And then my final 6 months was working in front office at a top hotel. So getting involved with engaging with greeting guests, and then also working, funny enough, in the housekeeping department. So cleaning the rooms with the team, and then moving up to the next level until you got to a supervisor level. And so you were really pushed through all the different areas, but you were able to tear up and learn from the bottom and move yourself up. Having left there, I came over to the UK, back this time now qualified from hotel school. And my first job was at a lovely little boutique hotel in Knightsbridge, running the small food and beverage department for the Lowndes Hotel. And for the first time in its history, actually, I generated a small profit out of this little brasserie, because it was very much there for the guests' use rather than the public. And we started to draw a lot of public people into this little brasserie and hold a few functions, and it took off like a little rocket. I then, again, Sabrina, had this burning desire to set up my own business. And I went back to Africa and I set up a restaurant in Cape Town, along with a colleague and a great friend of mine, Jeff. And he and I set up this business, a restaurant called Pages in Time. And time was spelled like the herb, Thyme. And it was set in this amazing 1901 Victorian home, 100-seater restaurant, fine dining, but the fact was, it was all about making sure that every person that walked through that door had an amazing experience. And as a result, that business went within the first year to becoming one of the top restaurants in the country. And again, I always love to share with people, it wasn't because the food was amazing. Yeah, the food was good. It was hitting the 8s and 9s and 10s out of 10s, but it was the all-over experience. It was very, very much about that attention to detail. So, for example, if you came in and had a meal with us and we got engaging and chatting and that sort of thing, and I noticed you swapped your cutlery around because you were left-handed, the next time you came in, your cutlery would have already been swapped around. We would remember which wine you ordered. We would make, and bearing in mind, there was no proper digital technology to record all of this. All of this was handwritten in notes. So every single customer had a handwritten profile. And this is where we went, we made a difference to go the extra mile for guests right across the board. Having sold that restaurant late into 97, I came back to the UK, this time for good. And I wanted to put the hospitality sector behind me. It's hard work and it's wonderful, but it's still my Achilles heel. It's that love-hate relationship. I do have a burning passion for it still, and that's what I think helps me and drives me with the British School of Etiquette as well, because we do incorporate service excellence and customer service and working with butlers and airline stewards and VIP staff for yachts and private aircraft, so that I still get the opportunity to work with people in the hospitality sector per se. My job this time around was actually getting into banking, of all things. I had a friend in a recruitment company who said, look, I can get you a foot in the door, and she did. And I did a year working for a brand which is well known in this country called Foreign and Colonial. Mid-office, had a steep learning curve, and then I'll never forget engaging with this young man. His name was Stephen. He was an accountant. And I pulled him towards me as we shook hands and said, look, I don't know, I feel like a fish out of water. But if you support me, I promise I won't let you down. And he did exactly that. He really was fantastic. Long and short of everything is I, again, use that word burning desire to engage with my own business and set up something that I could work with people and help people. And I set up a business in late 2002, early 2003 called Step 2 Training. And that's TO. Step 2 Training. And that was really engaging with adult learners who wanted to do a complete career change. So we worked with people coming out of the armed forces, people who were completely fed up with their careers, and we were giving them the opportunity to get into the construction sector, the construction industry. And Step 2 Training was the first organization to actually facilitate residential programs for adult learners. So, and this took off like a rocket. So that was from 2003 to 2008. And that really took place in the West Country, out near Gloucestershire, Cirencester area, Wales. And we had a very successful business. Having sold that, I came back to London. And this time I joined my brothers in construction. And as you do as brothers, you buy and set up a dry cleaning business. We bought and set up an estate agency business. And we did a plethora of things together. But as a lot of people, I think, understand and realize, working with family has its moments, and you can end up, unfortunately, disagreeing and boxing. And we're a very close family. So we decided to separate our differences. And I truly believe, Sabrina, in life, that whatever we do in this world is preparing us for amazing things. I really and truly believe that. And there's no one in this world that's had a straight journey. We've all had curveballs thrown at us. And out of the blue, having separated from my brothers, which is a bit of a knock, an old mate of mine got hold of me and said, "Philip, what are you up to these days?" And I explained to him what I was doing. He said, "Come and have a coffee with me in London." And I met him for a coffee and we chatted, and he said, "I'm running a butler school. Your restaurant Pages in Time was just phenomenal in Cape Town. I would love you to come and get involved somehow. Come and spend some time looking and observing." So I spent about 2 or 3 weeks working for free, as in complimentary, going up and observing. And then I started to facilitate a lot of these coaching programs and butler courses, with the view to potentially starting an etiquette school together. Unfortunately, that didn't take place. But my wife said to me, "Philip, this is your calling. This is something you've got to do. Set something up on your own." Yeah. And so the British School of Etiquette was pretty much born 2013, 14, and we launched the British School of Etiquette then. And it took off like a rocket. The first 6 months were unbelievable. And then it just fell off the edge of a cliff. Zoom, boom. Fell right off. And it really was, I felt like a rabbit in front of headlights. And Sabrina, you must also bear in mind that working on your own in your own little office can be very lonely. I was still getting dressed every day appropriately. I was arriving at my desk on time. I was really trying to get my mindset in tune. But the loneliness kicked in, the frustration of not achieving what I wanted to achieve. And my wife, who's incredibly dynamic and supportive, was kicking me up the rear end, pushing me, encouraging me. So that first year of the British School of Etiquette, the first 6 months, as I said, was a wow, and then it just dropped off the edge of the cliff. And I could have easily given up. And there were a few times, my head, my hands in tears, thinking, am I really doing what I'm doing? Is it going to happen? All my friends are getting ahead in life, and I'm sitting around messing about with this organization. I know it's my passion, but what am I doing? There's a lot of questions. And I decided at the end of that year to take on some very dynamic business coaching, and also get involved in some CBT, some cognitive behavioral therapy. And again, my wife, Kerry, supported me every step of the way and financially backed me on this, because my business wasn't making money. I'd fallen off a cliff, and she backed me 100%. And as just a lot of people out there need to understand that one thing you need to do in this world is invest in yourself. Do not be afraid of investing in yourself on any level. And I threw a serious amount of money at this coaching program. It cost me a lot of money, or it cost my wife a lot of money at the time. I've now paid her back, but it was a big investment. It was into double digits with a couple of zeros on the end. But I tell you what, it's possibly one of the best things I could have ever done, because I look at this like, if you're steering a ship in the ocean, you don't just turn the steering wheel and the ship automatically swings across. It takes time to then start up my confidence again, and I think putting some serious structure in place and some very serious focus in place, it started to make a massive difference. Where it made a big difference for me was that my coach said to me, "Philip, you need to hire someone." And I nearly did a double flick-flack. My heart jumped into my throat, and I said to him, "I can't afford anybody right now." He said, "That's not the point. You need to hire someone." He asked me, "What am I doing in the business?" And I said, I was wearing every hat under the sun. I was doing so many different things in the business. And so therefore, I wasn't able to focus on any one thing in particular. He said, "Hire someone to take on all the sort of transactional things, and then you can start to focus on those more transitional. You can start to look at the bigger picture." And I took, and as anyone who takes on any coaching and understands, when a coach shares something with you, or guides you or steers you, you take on board what they're saying and don't add your 10%. you've got to literally stay focused on what they're sharing with you, because they've been there, they've done that, they've circumventing all the heartache and all the trip ups that you're going to go through if you don't listen to your coach. And again, for anybody out there who's contemplating moving ahead in life, take on someone who can guide you and steer you. 100%. I really 100% wholeheartedly believe that. I've just engaged in some further coaching right now as we speak. I'm using this time to grow and develop. I'm using this time right now to bring on some online courses we're doing a lot of Zoom coaching right now. But it's just the ability to reshift, be ahead of the program. Right now, anyone out there not sure what they're wanting to do, everyone feels like they're a rabbit in front of headlights. Do yourself a favor. Go down that road of continued professional development. Look at things that you can do right now to better yourself, so that when we do come out of this horrendous scenario that we've all been faced with globally, we're all in the same boat together, we can come out roaring like a big lion. You can really do that. And this is what has started to happen. So I hired someone, and boom, within the first 3 to 4 months, this business started to gather traction again and more momentum. I was then able to make sure that we as a brand, as an organization, could be fully accredited by educational awarding bodies. No other etiquette school or organization in our industry had ever bothered to go down that road. So now we're the only accredited organization in our industry through ILM, part of City and Guilds, a continued professional development provider, a center of training excellence, as well as an investors in people. And now down the line, we're sort of 5-6 years into our business. We're a global brand now. We've got a partnership in India, Pakistan, Japan, Brazil, soon to be actually USA as well now. We've got an amazing woman in the greater Philly area, greater Philadelphia area. Beth Coyle has just taken on the brand and partnership and will be launching very soon in that neck of the woods. So the British School of Etiquette, we're looking at ways that we can connect with more and more people out there. And I truly believe that going down the route of being online and offering online courses that you can buy as a package, we're about to launch our first 5 20-minute courses, hopefully next week, where people can purchase them from our website or through our website. It's new for us. It's something that, and it's shot, Sabrina, it's shot very naturally. This is none, as I said, I don't want anyone to think, oh, etiquette and manners, and it's all very pompous and it's all very staid and all very stuffy. It's got nothing to do with that. You know that. It's about being very natural. It's about connecting with people. It's giving people the tools to build their confidence.
Yeah, and you know what I really love about you, Philip? You're all of that. So if you're listening to this and you do need to go into very affluent scenarios, Philip also has packages for that. If you're a parent and you just want to position your child to be able to, when they're encountering engagements, they know how to diversify. And what I really loved about the transparency of your journey, Philip, and I really thank you for being so open, is that there was a time when you felt like a duck out of water. And I love that, like, as an entrepreneur, as your business goes from strength to strength, you're going to be faced with new environments, new investment opportunities. Here's the thing. How would it feel for you to have been confronted with an opportunity that can take you to the next step and have that judgment of going, not quite sure I want to do business with this person, just because you lack things? As I remember you giving us some of your time, we met with my kids, we met one-to-one. And one of the questions that I asked you, Philip, was, I had a feeling that my children can do so much in terms of success, but I just knew that depending on how they conducted themselves, without saying a word, they would be judged on the way they enter a room, the way they navigate, the way they might be dining. So the School of Etiquette has something for someone, somewhere, no matter where you are. And what I really love is that Philip has an amazing way of actually connecting with you where you are and then taking you to the next level. But my primary essence as a parent, so a lot of the listeners are entrepreneurs and parents and successful entrepreneurs who desire to create influencer children. And one thing that I really feel, especially in this current climate, is that there's so much emphasis on academics. Now, look at what's happened now. Schools have shut down. They've given kids expected grades. Some will have good grades, some will have awful grades. Now, that is going to depict the child's life going forward if that's what you think it is. But here's the thing. research shows, and you can go ahead and do your own research, only 10%, right? Academics is only 10% to really guarantee success for your child's future. So why are we putting so much emphasis only on academics? Now, I'm not saying that academics is not important, okay? But what I am saying, academics alone is only 10% to guarantee success. They then say that 20% is socialization, but a whopping 70% to guarantee your child's success is entrepreneurship, experiential learning. And this is exactly what Philip brings to the table. And I really cannot emphasize enough, this is a product, service, a gentleman who I endorse, myself and my family. You know, there are some amazing conversation that we're going to go ahead and have, and we've had, to actually bring some things to the table. But listeners, I want you to really grasp what's on offer for you. It's not dining skills only. It's not just how do I talk and communicate and stand. This is about your emotional intelligence. See, if you don't know how to deal with your own emotions and that of others, you know, the unforeseen will happen. But once you do have those tools in your toolkit, the rest is history and the possibilities become endless. Philip, I wonder if you could interject there.
Look, you've said that so brilliantly, Sabrina. You know, this is literally what this is about. This is giving people the tools to understand the power and importance of engaging with other people. Everyone out there right now who is sort of looking at ways to grow and develop, one of the best ways one can grow and develop is by bettering our emotional intelligence. And for me, this is very much the foundation of life. If you have good, strong EQ, emotional intelligence, you can be the brightest person in the world, but if you don't have good EQ, you will fall down along the way. You really and truly will. And I love what you said. You've really summed it up brilliantly. I can't even better what you just shared. You know, Sabrina, you a mum who've got very talented kids. And as you said, I've worked with them and met them and had the privilege of spending some really good quality time together. You've done a remarkable job. They're rounded, they're engaging, they listen when people open their mouths. And I think this is one of the most wonderful skill sets that we can teach not just children, but ourselves, is learning to listen properly, actually engaging and hearing what the other person's saying, taking on board what they're saying, digesting it, and then interacting with those people.
That is wondrous. I love what you're saying, because when it comes to our life skills, there's not enough conversation around that when it comes to entrepreneurs, business owners. See, I'm sure, you know, I can raise my hand and say I've had some pretty interesting interactions with business owners, and it's an essence of, this is my label, and because of who I am, that's enough. It's not. It really isn't. People will gravitate where they feel that they're listened to, like Philip correctly said. You know, attention to detail. I love the essence that if you notice that one of your diners are left-handed, next time the cutlery will be set such a way. That's what keeps people coming forth. That's what keeps people feeling that they want to build rapport and continue building rapport with you. And I've always said this to my children, to the clients that I work with, everybody I meet, is that people will connect with you depending on the way you connect with them. If it's a me scenario, you really are becoming your worst problem. You get in the way of where you can actually go in your life, with your business and your personal life. So what I would say to the listeners is definitely reach out to Philip and his amazing team. Philip, I wonder if you can let people know where they can find you, because this is going to be audio and video. So those that can't see the banner, if you could just let them know how they can get in touch, please.
Certainly. And if I may, Sabrina, I know time is
No, go ahead.
Coming to an end now. I want to share with you as well. We are very fortunate in, you know, one thing that I know you're amazing at is helping other people, and I'm a true believer in collaboration. And I think this is how we as human beings can really, really make a huge impact in our lives, by collaborating with other people. And on that note, I just sent something to Sabrina. We are collaborating with an unbelievable woman who is based in the US. She's a TEDx speaker. She's a multi award-winning coach, and we are, along with a gentleman by the name of Ryan Suave, and as I mentioned, this woman by the name of Jennifer Grace. We're running a podcast or a live webinar this Thursday It'll be here 8 p.m. GMT +1. So in other words, UK time, UK summertime. So wherever your listeners are in the world, they can dial in, and it will obviously be rescheduled. But Jennifer and Ryan are going to be taking people on the most incredible journey, because it's really the whole process is how we empower our kids by alleviating anxiety and cultivating consciousness and communication during, especially this time right now, quarantine. And we, and not only along with Jennifer Grace and Ryan Swab, we've actually partnered with an incredible organization in Australia called Beautiful Minds, Beautiful Minds was founded about 10, 15 years ago by, again, a wonderful, dynamic woman. And she's now in 900 schools through Australia, working with youngsters and teenagers on helping them with their skill set, with their mindset, with how to grow as a human being rather than just be this academic focused individual. So it's about, again, stepping out of our comfort zones. It's about connecting with like-minded organizations and everyone taking a piece of the action, because this is not about me, me, me. The more people that we can influence in this world, boom, you are going to create an unbelievable domino effect. You are, and I truly believe in one of the most beautiful expressions. If we all do a random act of kindness on a daily basis, we may just set the world in the right direction. So I'm going to ask you, Sabrina, please to share this free live online training setup with your readers and audience. And if anyone wants to engage with us here at the British School of Etiquette, it literally is that long, big mouthful, www.thebritishschoolofetiquette.com. I love receiving emails personally. I'm not one of these organizations where I sit at the top and don't interact. For me, it's about interacting. So my name is Philip with one L, and then that's Philip at thebritishschoolofetiquette.com. Please feel free to reach out to us. We've got a YouTube channel. From our website, you can go into Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. We've got a Facebook. We've got all the social media platforms, and we will offer you as much value as we can.
Oh, fantastic. I'm so glad that you did actually share that golden nugget. Thank you so much. I'll definitely be attaching that link. I'll put it on the podcast and the video, so it will be going everywhere. So listeners and viewers, you can actually just click in the description to actually get hold of the information that Philip has kindly shared. Philip, I cannot thank you enough for being a part of our life, for the work that you're doing, and the transparency. You see, at this time, we are all rendered to go back to what does it mean to be a human being. And I cannot agree with you more that one act of kindness a day can transform any situation. And I think the fact that we're all in the same seat right now gives us an opportunity to reset, reconnect, and go out and shift the world. Look, entrepreneurs are used to be dynamic. They're used to coming up with solutions to problems. So listeners, that includes you. No matter where you are right now, there's some value that you can add to your family and your community. So why not get in touch with myself and that of Philip and see what we can do together? Because together, when we unite, wondrous things start to take place. One of our family favorite quotes is, "It takes a village. You can go fast alone, but you can go further together." So what if we can utilize this time to just interconnect like individual jigsaw pieces to a big puzzle with our own skill sets? There's no one that's got a skill that's not valid, and no one knows too much not to teach someone else. So we all have something that we desire to teach and something we desire to learn, because the true essence of humans is connection. So let's not lose that essence of who we are, okay? 100%. Take good care of yourself.
Myself. Sabrina, again, thanks for the opportunity. It's such a joy and pleasure. And your face, your smile just lights up the world. So
you get me excited. It's amazing.
Keep doing what you're doing. And I know the amount of influence and how you help other people is changing lives all around the world. So we're on the same path, we're on the same road together, we're pulling in the same direction. And I just thank you for this amazing opportunity, and thank you for you.
Oh, you're welcome, Philip. Thank you so much for joining us. Listeners, I really hope that you take away some golden nuggets, rewind it, listen to it again, and pick up the bits that you've missed and get in touch. You see, there's one thing people tend to say is like knowledge is power. No, I really believe that is a flawed premise. It's like having vitamin C without having vitamin D. There's no absorption. So this will only work when you actually take action. Get in touch with Philip and take action. Make the knowledge applicable. Utilize it, have some experiential learning so you can start moving forward. Take good care of yourself, Philip, and your family. And I look forward to seeing you again soon, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Wonderful, Sabrina. Bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.